Okay, welcome back to day 3 on the cheap pony. So it runs, it drives, it's rattly. There's a lot of loose things on here I found. They need to be tightened up. On the fuel system. So the fuel pump's running all the time. It just doesn't prime and shuts off. It continues to run. So I did a little research and they're telling me that it is not supposed to run all the time. It only does the prime till it starts, then it'll start back in again. So there is a fuel pump driver motor or assembly. I pulled the tire out. We'll get a look in there. Right down there. And the funny part about it is, the cover to it, right here, when I put the fuse in, I heard a pop in the rear, and I wasn't sure what that was. And then today when I brought it in, I was looking around, and sure enough, it blew the cover off the fuel driver motor drive, whatever, assembly, whatever they want to call it. What that does basically is lets the fuel pump know through the computer system when it needs fuel, when it doesn't need fuel. So it's not functioning right. And what it would do is, it wasn't working, it wouldn't start, wouldn't run. They put a brand new fuel pump in it. There it is right there. It wouldn't run. So they put the used fuel pump back in it. And then checked the ground, and there was no ground on the. So I'm not sure if that driver on that part of it, that switch back there controls the ground, which starts the fuel pump or whatever. So anyway, make a long story short, he added an external ground. And I made sure to check there is no ground without the external ground plugged into it, which makes the fuel pump run, but it runs all the time. It's not regulated. And I believe that's what the light on the dash is for. So I ordered a driver assembly, fuel pump driver assembly motor or function, whatever it does. And I'm going to put that in. And then I've got the back seat out and all apart. They've got a perfectly good fuel pump here, brand spanking new. So I'm going to install that, and then I will button up the inside of the car back, put the rear seat back in it, and tighten up everything that I can find that's rattling back there. Yeah, so I cleaned one of the wheels. It cleaned up really well. I'm assuming all of them, they all look pretty good. The other thing I did was I went under the hood for 5 minutes because I was sick of looking at it. And the BBK cold air induction system had some rust on it, and I used a Brillo pad, which now has fallen under the car, or I had to continue to scrub on it, and shine that up. And then I just kind of did a little bit of housekeeping under here, taking a look at what was here, as you can see, and what wasn't here. Battery box is, it's not all broken. A lot of these are broken. So, being a young guy, he put on that extra 2.5% gain in horsepower with that BBK cold air induction system. It works really well if you have bigger injectors and everything else. It helps get the air into the system. So it probably isn't going to make a whole lot of difference on a Mustang pony that's got 210,000 miles on it, but it's sucking a lot of air. One thing I did notice is pretty much everything that works on this car. There is very few things that I found. I found one thing that didn't really work, and it's the light in the trunk, which I will fix. It's a bulb. So the things that are supposed to be here are here. So whoever had this car really took care of it. And at least they tried, and they must have done some good care to it because they got to 210,000 miles and counting. Actually, the paint's not bad. It's not great. The car's got 200,000 plus miles on it. Spare tire is flat. We'll fix that. Haven't cleaned or anything. I did come over on the front fender, and you know, because you got to test out, see how shiny it can be. I put a little cleaner wax on it, and then I put a little wax on it, and it shined right up. Now, back here, obviously got a little bump in the back, and somebody had done a repair job on it and just masked that out and painted it. So that paint will never match without doing the whole quarter or the whole car. So probably not going to happen. This is just a high mileage car. The other thing I noticed, probably you just noticed when I was under the hood, is it's yellow. So this hood came off a parts car, and they wrapped it in black. It's got flaking paint and everything. I will probably take the insulation down, take the hood off it, and I will probably paint that black also. Or maybe I can get some of this paint to match and get a couple cans and spray it under the hood and coat it with clear. I don't want to put a whole lot of money in it. I may try buffing that with some compound and see if I can get that to come back out and maybe re-clear the whole quarter. There's another spot right here. It looks like they just kind of smudged some paint onto it, but yeah, so tomorrow I'll put the fuel pump in. I'll repair the ground. Probably won't need that external ground once I put the other part back in it. So George caught that, Shade Tree Mechanic, said that kind of looked a little iffy, that ground wire with that little blue snap. I agree. So he caught that right off the bat. I didn't mention it, but I had looked at it and thought, boy, that's going. But hopefully I don't need that. I'll repair that line where they snapped that on there, on the wire, and put some heat shrink around it. If this fix works and I can clear the code off the dash. Okay, well, hey, I'll bring back another video tomorrow or the next day when I get some of the work done in this. But thanks for all the new subscribers. I really appreciate it. I've got a lot of good comments, people asking questions. Try to answer the questions the best I can. Sometimes the questions are a little more in depth what I know, but you know, I'll struggle through it. So yeah, hit that like button, subscribe, and see where we're going, because a lot of my viewers are viewing my videos but not subscribing. Really like to hit that subscribe button, and so you can see when I'm doing more projects on this and some of the other stuff we do. And the rat rod and the other trucks and cars. So hit that subscribe button and you'll get notification when we have something new. Again, thanks. Have a good week.